Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
King Island's foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, K-Man? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Thank you very, very much for joining us today. We have the excellent company of Mr. Kerry Lawrence. We're going to invite you to share your thoughts. You may agree and compliment. You may say no, or take a view, not to be contrarian, but perhaps to consider alternative perspectives. Off the bat, though, I want to say a special hello to DJ Lynn. Hey, an amazing, inspiring guy who has a kind, giving heart. And today, with a haircut, looking sharp, man. Say that to say, let's look and love one another. Let's share and inspire. Let's encourage. Let's be motivated. But above all, let's be disciplined, determined, and purposeful. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Radio K-Man Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back. Yes, and thank you so much for joining us, and to Kerry Lawrence for sitting with us. I'll say this as an invitation to people to step up to the plate. Let's have a chat. Today is some date in July and some year in 2024, presumed according to our calendar. And yet, yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is a promise to no one. And are we embracing today, making it something that matters? What say you, Kerry? How are you?
I'm all good. Great to be here. Great to be alive. Every day is a good day once you're above ground, I suppose.
Yeah, one good friend used to say, everybody says, oh, good day to be alive. Good, end of the day above ground. He said, man, think of it this way. If you think today's a bad day, try missing one.
Exactly.
Right? And I want to say that to share that at the outset, as I looked across to DJ Lynn, mindful, and I'm reminded of how teamwork, what we do affect other people, positive or negative.
Correct.
A simple thing, you have your hands full and somebody opens the door for you or takes one of the packages. It's a simple gesture, but sadly, even that nowadays may be perceived by the person that you're trying to help, or worse, someone else who's looking, I wonder what they want now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That kindness, that generosity, that sincerity is out the window. Can I also invite further thought, even more so, the willingness, the courageousness, the almost obligation, I don't want to say in being incumbent, but obligation that we have to speak out. Think about what we're going to say and speak out, to oppose something or to propose and champion something. And that's why, like with you, you call in and you say, hey, this is Kerry Lawrence. You're not saying it to, at least in my perspective, for any other reason than to say to people, don't mix me up with anybody. I said it, good, bad, or indifferent. I stand behind what I say.
Correct.
That's a good thing.
If you believe I'm wrong, you can correct me if I am.
Yeah.
I have no issues with that, really. The end of the day, I think we all Caymanians here, and we need to look out for the betterment of the island that we grew up to know, and that we expect our children to grow up in and to have something left behind for them is one of the things that bothers me, and we have to watch what we're doing, where we're going, and how we're going to get there.
Yeah. Okay, with that in mind, and I'm perhaps not always sensible in the perspective of, hey, this is what I think, this is what I'm going to say. Sensible from the fact that some people say, that what he about it, because it's not about that. I don't have an issue with telling you straight up where to get off of what I think or what I plan. I do what I say and I say what I do. But I realize that in today's world, people are guarded, they're caged, they're diplomatic, they're strategic. They're making sure that wherever they stand, they're right in that place where, they're always in the best light. They're false and malicious, but boy, you're right there with them.
But I mean, I look at those things. I it's like water off a duck's back for me.
Okay.
The reason by being is because we need a simpler focus on what we have ahead of us. And when I say that, I mean in a whole. And if more Caymanians did that, I think we'd be further ahead. Because we used to have and we still have it, in time of need and in time that is necessary. Time of disasters, I think people step up and show what we can do. I mean, even if you looked at, people didn't agree, I guess, with what they did in COVID, but the majority of Caymanians subdued to whatever the government wanted, right?
Right. They were willing to comply because they believed that it made sense. They
believed in the outcome.
Right? And they had, as you said, that shared outcome. We want everybody to be safe. We're not sure, but let's figure this out.
Yeah.
What I also like, though, and I agree with you, I think that's who we are. We see it in that time. I also like that there were a few people who go, but okay, hang on. That seems kind of weird,
Well, which was, how I look at it, Dwayne, is simple. COVID came around. We did our lockdown, but after the lockdown, our children was out and about.
Yeah,
they got to hang out earlier than most countries. Yeah, most places around us. We kept it, and we kept our elderly safe in that manner while we figured out the rest of it. Right. So whether it was the right thing to do at the time, I mean, I think it was almost a smaller price to pay than every other country for what we did. Bad or indifferent. I'm only saying that because my sons got to go out after a time and hang out with their friends and go and get back to school early. Got to go in the supermarket without the mask and everything else. And other countries, it took a longer period of time to get to that. So good, bad or indifferent, if you were living somewhere else, it would have been something totally different, right?
And that somewhere else didn't have to be a communist place. It could be a European country. It could be one of the little provinces in Canada. We've heard these stories from our friends and family who are there. Can I, through you, invite people to a dialogue, at least for maybe the first time in a long time, for them to at least think and question, right? As you shared, we came together, we agreed, we're not quite sure what's going to happen, but we know what we would like to happen, so let's work together. And we did a great job collectively, right? Secondly, the people who said, but wait a minute, we need to look at this a little closer, doctors, lawyers, others, they did so with a semblance of respect and respectfulness, but they wanted to make sure that whoever, and for whatever reasons, didn't go so far that democracy was being compromised, the people's safety and freedom weren't being taken away deliberately or inadvertently. So that's good. But here's another thing. I had a conversation with someone. I don't believe in coincidences, so I'm glad that he just talked about COVID. For those who are listening, we're talking to Kerry Lawrence. He accepted the invitation to come and join. I said to him, there are a couple of people who have an opinion, they think about it, they got the courage to stand behind what they say, and I hope you don't mind, but even broader shoulders today than last time I saw you. So strong broad shoulders to take a good lick. Good stuff, man. This lady, being the financial whiz and the economist and the accounting and understanding the numbers, right? She said, do you realize her daughter was watching something, the movie with the Black Panther, where the country that they operate, or whatever that's called. They come back to you. She said, if you looked at Cayman in the intervening period, right, of COVID, the economy flourished. People lived not so much in a bubble, but they were able to the most part, survive independently. Businesses did well, irrespective of whatever policies that were there. You saw an ability to sustain yourself for a period of time, unlike other economies that were struggling. And then we started to talk about not just the socioeconomic impact, but the psychological impact. And it shows the resilience and the resolve, but the sense and sensibility of our people.
Well, I mean, one of the things I'd like to say, and as the Chinese would say, too early to tell. So it's too early to tell if it was a bad choice, and it's too early to tell if it was a good choice.
Yeah.
Right. So it's literally too early to tell which side of the fence you should have been on.
Right.
So time will tell. The one thing that disappointed me in all of COVID is that we came out of COVID in the same spot that we left it. Right? What I mean by that is simple. I believe during COVID and right after COVID, while everybody was still locked and no tourists wasn't coming, we had the complete opportunity to revamp what we do here, to secure certain stuff for Caymanians, to train our Caymanians in that time to take over posts that we knew people coming back for, because those people left, right?
Yeah.
So now we knew that at some point the hotels would have to open. We knew at some point that the services and the bartenders and all these things would have to get back to work. So what did we do in that time when everybody was home and locked up and didn't have a job and that wasn't going on? I don't think we did enough as an island to make sure that when we did open, Caymanians got the first opportunities and the best opportunities as we should get, right? I'm not saying that we should go down the road of pointing out who we should hire, but I think what Caymanians normally want and what anybody wants is a fair opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? A fair opportunity. And I come out and say that because most of the opportunities you get in those jurisdictions and here and those things are not fair opportunities. So you have to look at it in that context, right?
Right. As you share that, I'm thinking to a comment, it was shared by two individuals actually, so two comments. Historically, hopefully I have it timeline accurate, but also I recall this was way back. In the 80s, presumably, Canada, I'm told, high unemployment, the government decided, listen, if you want to go back for a second or third degree, we're going to start training our people in all sorts of areas, including accounting and the like, and invested heavily in the upskilling of its citizens. And as a consequence, now we see, much of that skill and labor being deployed not only across the country but globally. One
of the things I think we lack here is that we send our kids away, and I mentioned that last time.
Right.
So we send our kids away to get them the education they need, and we help them out with scholarships, with whatever else, so they can get what they need, hopefully, to get their education. But, coming back to the island, we can say that when they come back here, they should get a job. And I agree with that. But you have to understand that it's a cost to a company also to hire somebody with lack of technical experience versus you have the theory experience. It's a lot of risk out there for certain things, for companies being sued and everything else when you don't have that technical experience, right? So what do you put in place for that? And you have to understand that when people come here, they come in from countries, you have to compete now with Cayman and children coming back here without the technical experience, right? The hands-on experience, and then they compete with somebody who already have it and already have the theory, right? Most companies will go ahead and try to hire the person that already have it because it's beneficial to their company and the cost of doing business anyway, and that's the problem, right? And that's one of the things you see. The cost of living, cost of doing business is a huge factor in all of this. So it all goes hand in hand. Yeah. Because if businesses are trying to get things done cheaper and they can't afford to hire this one because it's a little bit more, and they can't afford to take the time to pay this one to be able to get the experience on the job because they cost them more. So it goes hand in hand. So that's why I said all this stuff goes hand in hand with the cost of living, right? And spending, and the spending comes from the government. So it's government spending that causes this issue, right? So we need to curtail what we spend on, where the money is going, and how best for it to be served. But one of my pet peeves are that I'm not saying that you should force the children, if that's what they want to do, to say, okay, I would like to get the practical. Give them the opportunity to help them get that practical experience abroad. If they have another year, another 2 years to get the practical experience, when they come back here, there's simply no excuses, right? Well,
I'll pick you up on after the break. We'll take it, we'll talk. I always encourage others to listen and share their perspectives. You've been so kind with doing so often. So for those who want to join us, Kerry Lawrence is a guest. 1-800-534-8255. It's working out part for everybody.
I hope so.
All right, try it and see if you get through. Stay tuned.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments July 22nd to the 25th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com. That's drporterkman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Mr. Kerry Lawrence for giving us some time and sharing his opinion. Phone lines are there. The toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. There's the 949-6990. There's the 949-8037. And, of course, the WhatsApp call, which we now go to the phones and take this next WhatsApp. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Well, I'm not in a good mood, but I have life.
Well, let's see where it can take us. What's happening?
I really want to talk to you, sir. But I wonder if I could make an appointment to see you first.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about everything on the radio.
Okay.
But I want to do it in a professional way.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Because
what we'll do then, thank you for that. All right. Don't hang up. Let us get your number, and I'll call you after the show, and you can tell me what we want to talk about, and then we can go from there. Would that work for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll say this way, just generally. I wonder to what extent, come back to what you were sharing, as a people, collectively, the populace, whether we're voters or whether that's the individual person, we feel this sense of dread and trepidation, we're overwhelmed, frustration. We're not quite sure what is happening, how do we address it, nowhere to turn. Do you think for some reason we're kind of lost and in the wilderness somewhere?
Well, I don't know if the right word is lost. I think people generally are not paying attention.
Okay.
So I don't think loss is the word. I think more people need to pay attention. And I want to say that I believe in a whole. I think more people are paying attention to governments and what they're doing. And the reason for that is if you look around the world, we had a big change in the UK the other day, right? Clean sweep. And you have to understand that what we ended up with and what people generally have here is this. We have young people these days that are out there, and I think some of them just don't know where to turn. It's a little bit clueless and frustrated, to say the least, to what they see. And then we have to sit down now and think, is it our fault? Because we voted for people to do certain things, and they've said they're going to do certain things. That's not done. Now we have these people frustrated, and some people are so frustrated, the younger ones and the older ones behind that, they don't even want to go turn up to the polls, right? So it's a trouble for them to even go to the polls to vote, because they're saying, what am I really voting for? Is no change.
Okay.
So you have to put all of this stuff in one box, right? And generally speaking, you have to ask yourself, is Cayman really that hard to fix? Are we that huge that we can't fix the problem? Is it so big? Is the problems here so huge that we can't fix it? And personally speaking, I don't think so.
Okay.
Right? We just have to have the gall and the fortitude to be able to want to fix it.
I'll be able to do it, right?
What you have to do now is you need to start thinking on, are you satisfied in a whole with a speed bump, a paved road, right? Are you satisfied with that? Are you satisfied with street lights? Would you be more satisfied with opportunities for Cayman, with more successful Caymanians? I mean, I see people here flying on planes, okay, and become millionaires in this island. So what you have to think about now is how much people come to this island and become millionaires, and how much Caymanians become millionaires and you live here. What are the opportunities those people are getting different than Caymanian opportunities? What are we doing to make sure that Caymanians are the one that receiving those opportunities? Because obviously it's a nice place to come and make money, right? So if people are coming here to make money, are we making sure that the money is staying in Caymanians' hands first, right? So these are the things that we need to look at in a whole, right? And those things bother me because I watch this and I see this happening day in and day out, right? I mean, you can look at it, and you have the ESSO that go around and take all these information from Caymanians. That's the voting household that they go to.
Right.
Right. What are the statistics that they find? Right. What is the average wage? Right. What is the average person paying? What is the average mortgage? Who's seen that report? Could we see that report so we can make a judgment call on it?
And if we see it, is it being discussed? Do we understand it?
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we do, and who's looking at it, right? Who's seeing it? To make a conscious decision on what's actually happening, we need to see the stuff. Now, they're collecting it to get the GDP and the government. And again, I said to you on the radio the other day, government in a whole, they calculate their GDP based on projections, right? If those projections don't happen, then you have a fall short, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand why they have to do it, right? But I also understand that we in Cayman tend to hang our hearts a little bit too high in a government entity is what I'm talking about. So we sit down here and we say we're going to spend $50 million on a school, $70 million on a school. What are you building? Is that the best bang for the buck?
Yeah. So you're getting value for money.
Are you getting value for money?
Right.
Are you doing the right thing in doing that? So these are the things that bug me. So we get up and say, yeah, we're going to spend this and it's great. Right? I mean, if you look at what's the information you get on the school that they want to build in Cayman Rock, right? So you want to build a school in Cayman Brack. I don't have no qualms in saying, yeah, don't build it or build it. How much are you going to build it for? What is it? Just a high school, or is it a school that's going to take you from the ground up, from kindergarten, come right up in one building? That makes more sense to me in Cayman Brack than to do one high school, right? So you see, CIS, for example, they started with, I think the last building they built was a high school, right? But they started from kindergarten, come right up. Now you have one campus serving all purposes. That's bang for buck, right? Do we need 4 different buildings in Cayman Brack? Or do we
So
only need
duplicating
one?
resources in terms of a library or
that's
lunchroom.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
So these are the things that need to be discussed. So we get up and we say we're going to do this, and then this is why things cost us.
Right. But to your point though, and just sticking with government projects, whether it's a $50 million project or a $100 million project, what happens when, as we've seen, the Auditor General will come in after the fact, right? Because that's what the audit is, right? We just get the data after and says, well, one, we don't have seamless access to information. We can't figure out what went on because we don't see any paper trail, so to speak. Or we found stuff out, and now it's not 100 million, it's a billion, or it's 200 million. The public unwillingness or inability to ask questions, to hold accountable, to get some sort of understanding. What do we say about that? I mean, we seem to be accepting of the airport project, for instance. You just have casual conversations with people, 40 million, 60 million, 100 million. It went from this to that to the next thing. True or not, there are people saying, asking questions, but seemingly no proper analysis nor accountability.
Well, first of all, is that the right place to keep the airport? Is that this discussion there?
Okay.
You understand? So is that the right place for the airport to stay? Did we do analysis on that? Does it flood?
Yeah.
Right.
So
those are the things that I think that need to be, we jump up again and we do these things. But would it cause us less to build a new one and leave that one where it was and just have that for cargo and private planes? You don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So with that in mind, and this is where I like having a chat with you, we can talk about different things, but it all is connected in the sense that we're talking about public expenditure, so the use of tax money, government borrowing, and we're going to pay for it now, but we may pay for it, in 2 or 3 generations over that time. The inflationary consequences of this expenditure. Is it then willful blindness on our part? We're not just unaware; we're consciously unaware. We don't want to know.
It's not that, Dwayne. I'll venture to say that's not true.
Okay.
Because people that I speak to, and I'm pretty sure people that you speak to, if explained to them properly, right?
Okay.
They would understand and they'll share opinion on it. But you have to understand, not everybody is going to look at the way that government explain things or put things out there, and half information, not all information, is going to draw proper opinion on it. Right? So you need statistics behind it. You need the information that you're looking at to make that decision. So what is the information that government looks at to come to that conclusion of this is what we need?
Okay.
Right? Should we, the public whose money you're spending, should know that?
But we're hearing increasingly in Cayman, as well as if you just listen to international media, decisions are now data driven, right? We're going to get this. We're hearing it.
I don't believe that. But some of it is. All right. For example, I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
We built a 6-lane highway now in front of Grand Harbour. That's 6 lanes, 3 on either side. Am I correct?
Well, if they're not finished, it looks like you're getting 6.
Right,
Yeah,
so
I haven't gone that very much. Okay.
Yesterday, driving up past Grand Harbour, somebody ran across the road.
Oi.
6-lane highway. Now, we have pedestrians. We have people that walk. How are they getting from one side to the next? And where's the provisions for that?
Huh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
The danger to everybody.
Danger to everybody. So I ran across the road.
Huh.
I stopped. I drive a truck. I stopped. And I tried to get the lady to stop running. Right? Because I know that the car coming up behind me that I stopped can't see her passing in front of my truck.
Yeah.
So she's going to run out in front of the car that coming behind me.
God forbid, yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So I see these, and that's not the first time I see these things.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying that to say this. We plan things, okay? And it's halfway planned.
Yeah.
It's a band-aid. So you're going to build a 6-lane highway, but no pedestrian safety. So a pedestrian can't get from one side of the road to the next because you don't have the time or you don't have the fortitude to put up a walkway above the highway.
But we can do it for some two-bit developer.
This is what I'm saying. And it, all over the states, you go in the states, you have these metal walkovers that people can walk over. They can take the bicycles across. They can do all this
Right.
stuff. Why aren't we doing this? And then we do things like, for instance, you come around the roundabout right out here. You pop around the roundabout. And as you come around with the pedestrian.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about
Right?
that.
It's a crosswalk around a roundabout. You can tell me that they couldn't put an overpass there for people to walk across the road? And not slow traffic and not want to cause accidents.
Yeah.
I mean, it's madness. When I see things like that, it's not thought out properly, right? And these are the things that frustrate me and it should frustrate everyone.
Yeah. As you shared that, sorry, Lynn, I was looking at the Foster's Commander Bay complex, the roundabout right there, the Galleria and the West Bay Road. As you were saying, I was looking at it and going, I watch people walk. It's divided in such a way that it encourages people to walk. And I thought,
not only that,
it's dangerous.
They planned it. Well, listen, they have a crosswalk across that highway.
Yeah.
That built to walk across to go to West Shore.
Oh, right.
But they also have another crosswalk, whether you know about it or not, almost behind the CIS school. They walk underneath
right,
the roads to come up by the
gallery. Right, okay.
Right, so you have two crossings there.
Yeah.
If you decide now that you want to run across the road,
but this is it.
That's on you.
Yeah, but by that, I apologize, got to do that break. But as you were saying, I'm looking at that roundabout and the way it's sort of designed. The road, there's an opening, and it's saying to people, "Hey, you can cross here," but that's at an intersection, a roundabout. Not at least for me.
There, I think what we're missing there is more signage to let people know where these places are. The people are just visiting.
Okay.
Is I think what we're missing.
Right.
So people are visiting the island. I think we're missing signage to show them where the crosswalks are to cross those places.
Yeah. Mr. Lawrence, we got to take the break. Apologies, DJ Lynn. Let's do that break, and then we'll continue. Phone lines are there. Please join us.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
a caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
This is Kerry Ebanks, and I work in the financial services sector. I am concerned about how climate change is affecting our beautiful beaches. Sea level rise and changing wind patterns are worsening the erosion of our beaches, and warmer temperatures are causing more sargassum to reach our shores. When our beaches are degraded, our tourism sector and the livelihoods of Caymanians are put in jeopardy. To learn more about the climate risks to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Kerry Lawrence for sitting in the studio. Before we go up to the headlines at 1, the discussion you're having, it seems to think, as I listen to you, the country as a whole have a vision, be prepared to execute it, so that, from one political administration to the next, from one decade to the next, we know where we're going, maybe a plan to get there.
Exactly. And not only a plan to get there, we need to do a full plan. So as I said again, we can't put roads up without proper pedestrians. So we want people to walk, we want people to use bicycles, we want people to stay off the road, cause less traffic. We want people to catch buses. How do they get from one side of the road to the next?
Yeah. But I go back to, your idea is a good one. As long as it's accessible, whether we need some sort of lift for those who are either in a wheelchair or stroller or whatever, the bypasses where you go up and you cross over. We see a couple examples. But the one by just down the road here from the glass house, the pedestrian crossing on the roundabout, there's a light there. So you press that, at least something.
That's fine,
right?
But again, you don't see that light until you come around.
Right. But then go back to the Galleria, whatever that's called now. You got Foster's, Commander Bay, you got the West Bay Road. The way, as I look at the median in my mind, you're coming across from one space to the next. It's visually encouraging you as a pedestrian to use that. But the roundabout is right there.
I think those places are just missing signage. Meaning showing people where the crosswalks are that you can get under.
But should it be so close to a roundabout though?
Well, I'm not saying going across the road. What I'm saying is that they have an underpass that you can walk across. So you need signage to point you towards the underpass. They need signage to point you towards where the access for the bridges to go across the road.
But
so you don't really have to cross the road.
True. But many of us, you driving, maybe we ourselves, you, me, or others listening, have done it. The crosswalk is 15 feet from us. Instead of walking to it and walking across, we could jump across here, right?
Well, you. The thing is, are you going to go to Florida or New York and do that? That's what I'm going to ask you.
You know the probability of it being enforced if you do that.
Exactly my point. So you're not going to leave here and go somewhere else and do it because I know that somebody may simply run you over.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do that.
Right.
Right. So why do you want to do it here?
That brings another point.
Okay. So you shouldn't expect to do it here when you go somewhere else. People tell me when I go to the States I put on my seatbelt. Okay, why don't wear it here?
Yeah.
Okay, so those things that they don't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Right?
If it makes sense now, it should make sense.
So if you have it in place and you have signage in place, then it's your choice. If you choose to run across the road and get knocked over, and we have a overpass that you can walk across there, that's kind of on your back, right?
Let's take this call, I'm told. We're speaking to Kerry Lawrence. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, good to hear from you, man. How you doing?
Good, Bo. Good. Good afternoon there to the gentleman there. I don't now catch the name of him, but I heard him many times on the radio before.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Kerry Lawrence, right? Thanks for calling, man.
That's okay. Thanks, man. Cool. What he's saying there is so true. I had my doubts and concerns about those same points that he's bringing up there because we don't have the pilot cross problems up here, stoplights and everything else. But we have one section on Kimmenbrook that have a pedestrian crossing, and it's right across a marketplace linking to the C&B Bank. And they move, where they got the cross path for the pedestrian crossing, it's about 75 feet away from the bin when the vehicles coming around, especially from the east on the left coming around. And they're coming around, especially some of those water trucks. They're coming around full speed. And here is a pedestrian standing up on the pedestrian crossing to walk across the street. That doesn't, it like what I guy, like the gentleman said, it just doesn't make no sense. Who is in charge of doing these things? It seems like nobody got no common sense of what they're doing when they implement these things. That crosswalk, because when the last time I was in Miami, they used to put the pedestrian crossings deep on the inside of the bins, and they realized that it was causing a problem. So they started to put them on the very edge of the bin, that no matter where the traffic coming from, they would automatically see the light on and see someone walking across the pedestrian crossing. So they have to stop. But when you put a pedestrian crossing on the inside of a bin, 75 feet inside of that bin, and that car is coming around that bin and picking up speed or not slowing down from the beginning, you look in disaster. It's just a disaster waiting to happen.
If I may ask you, I understand the positioning of things, but just generally speaking, from your perspective, do you think we as motorists, and I recognize we got the headline news, and may ask you to hang on if you want, signs on the road, speed signs, stop signs, any signage on the roads, do you think we actually A, see it and pay attention to it, B, know what it means? What's your thought?
Well, Sterling, the people, let me rephrase that. People with education knows what a sign means. A person that not have no knowledge and no education can't tell you what a sign means.
Right. Okay.
So
sorry, you want to hang on and chat with us? We'll take the news. Or you want to catch us another time? I don't mean to...
No, I'll stay on until you come back.
Thank you for... All right, when we come back, Kerry Lawrence, James Albert Christian on the line, DJ Lynn over there. I'll get some chocolate. Stay tuned.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins. The Registrar of Nonprofit Organizations is preparing local charities ahead of its terrorist financing risk assessment of the NPO sector scheduled for Q4 of 2024. The next outreach session will be on July 18, 2024, at the Government Administration Building, with the target audience being churches and other religious organizations. In international news, Joe Biden has renewed a call for Congress to ban assault rifles, including the model that was used in the failed assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Trump's ear was grazed by a bullet after a gunman shot at him from a nearby rooftop during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday. His demand came as he returned to the campaign trail for the first time since the attack. Major motorways in Toronto have reopened and cleanup efforts are underway after a string of storms that flooded parts of the city, cut power, and left drivers stranded. Environment Canada reported that almost 4 inches of rain fell on Toronto on Tuesday, surpassing the city's daily record set in 1941. Images and videos showed severe flooding across the city, cars nearly submerged, and water cascading down the staircases at Union Station, a major transit hub. Nearly 5,000 customers are still without power as of Wednesday morning. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Residents of Boddentown, we want to hear from you. As HSA plans to expand our services and facilities in the Eastern Districts, we want to give you a chance to tell us what services you'd like offered in Bordentown so that we can best serve our community. We invite you to complete our brief online survey by visiting hsa.ky or the Bordentown Health Center for more details. At HSA, we remain committed to caring for you.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Honorable Makiva Bush would like to invite the community to a public meeting on Thursday, July 18th at 8 p.m. at the A.L. Thompson parking lot, on Saturday, July 20th at 8 p.m. at the Ebanks Road Park in Northwest Point in West Bay. The public meeting is to explain his call for an independent commission of inquiry into legal system. That is Thursday, the 18th July, 8 p.m. at A.L. Thompson parking lot, and on Saturday, July 20th at 8 p.m. at the Ebanks Road Park at the Northwest Point in West Bay.
Since its early beginning, the Cayman Islands tourism product has targeted middle to upper class segments. In 1949, Benson Greenwald, a wealthy British visitor, began construction on the empty West Bay beach of the Galleon Beach Hotel with 12 rooms. Greenwald was instrumental in the passage of the Caymanian Hotel Aids Law of 1950, which provided exemptions from import duties and taxes for anyone building a hotel with more than 10 rooms. Along with the Galleon, the new law kick-started the development fury with Marin's Seaview Lodge and Pageant Beach Hotel. By 1960, there were 9 hotels, clubs, and guest houses in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And in the studio, Kerry Lawrence, and on the phones, all the way from Cayman Brack, via the technology that we call telephony, Mr. James Albert Christian. Albert, thanks for holding on, man. How are you?
Yeah, all right, man. I'm good. Once the bottle is going, I'm good, man. I'm good. I didn't get you no chocolate, but anyway.
That's all right, man. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate the thought, you know what I mean? I beginning to find myself.
I find me part this playing away, but I can't get there. I need to go down in my boat, get some, but that little keep mine. But anyway, I know where they're selling it now.
Yeah?
By the boxes. Yeah, by the boxes.
There you go.
So anyway, let's get back to this thing what Kerry was talking about. I mean, the man can't say nothing more and nothing less of so much truth. But the thing was, Sterling, what bothers me, and I don't want to take over your show, but what bothers me is who is behind the planning of these signs and things that go on the road. Is it road works, public works? Who are in charge of these things, whether it's district admin or whoever? Somebody got to have some knowledge to know that when you put a sign on a road, you can't put the sign facing south and north and the traffic is coming from west and east. Come on, Sterling. I mean, you see the picture I'm painting?
I'm following you clearly, yeah.
I mean, how can you put a sign up and when you pass, you're trying to break it up, reading what a sign say? It's facing, like Kim and Brock, we call it, it's facing the bluff or facing the sea. But we can't see it coming from that direction because you can't come from the bluff or from the sea. You got to come from east or west. And that is how they put on a sign. And like I say, they got one crossroad here with a pedestrian. And they got that wrong. They couldn't even get that right. And like what Kerry was saying, Cayman, it's a problem there because I was down there some weeks ago and I was afraid to cross the street because of the same reason. So who is doing these plans and putting these things in place? You mean the person that is in charge that don't have the common sense, but yet he is collecting the big salaries? No, come on, man. Something is missing. Some nail or some screw is missing from somebody. Hey, I don't know who, but somebody needs to look in and try to get these islands straightened up and safe again.
you're raising points where maybe as a people now we're assuming that this one gonna do it because that one's gonna do it, and it's left undone. But I take your point on board. Anything else you want to share? And always feel free to call and share your comments.
I mean, I just wanted to back what Kerry was saying there, because I mean what he's saying is so true, and I hope people understand and people came on really speak up regarding the situation down there, because it's just like what the Englishman I told me when I was in the fire department. He said as long as they're planes, there will be accidents. I will tell you, as long as they're cars, there will be accidents. You can't prevent that. So then the government needs to try to oversee these things and try to correct these things before we have too much killings on the road. And it's just a matter of time. So they need to try to put something in place and implement it as fast as they can and stop worrying about flying around on Cayman Airways trying to look for it all the time. Anyway, before my pressure go up, let me try to see if I can bring it back down. I'll talk on it later.
All right. Hey, thanks. Thanks very much for sharing.
Yeah, man.
Have a good one. They say common sense isn't in there. You know what I mean? So off air, I tell the caller, someone says, a little beet juice brings the pressure down. So, just sharing it with you. Let me, if you want to jump in, if not, I'll share the comment from this listener, right?
Share the comment and we move on.
Talking about crosswalks, the listener says, visited Ireland recently and across the hotel where they were staying. It was a crosswalk to get from the hotel to the shopping centre, and there was a light for you to press, on both sides of the roads, and then that caused the cars to stop. And if you didn't press the button, you would end up standing there all day. And people here need to press the button, the stop buttons on the crosswalk, wait for the cars to cross, and then cross. But we have some.
That's not the, like, on West Bay Road and thing, I can understand that's a 25-mile zone, right? And that's 2 lanes with a turn lane in the middle. So my main concern is these 4 lanes and 6 lanes highways that you expect people on bicycles or pedestrians, or you just get on a bus to use a public bus and they drop you off on one side of the road and you have to go to the other. How do you get there? Right? So we need to take these things into consideration when we talk about public transport. It's fine and dandy to put in public transport and expect people to take it, but should they risk their lives crossing the 6-lane highway?
Yeah. But interestingly, the fellow that did, the urban planner that did Seaside and other projects, and was, I gather, the initial sort of consultant and planner for what is now Cabana Bay. Is it Andrea Tuani or whatever? Brilliant fella. Had an amazing conversation with him in studio. And he shared that if your roads were narrower than the roads that they tend to build in the US and what we tend to build here, they were safer for vehicles and pedestrians. Now he actually calculated what width was the safest, most economically feasible to build and all these things, right? And he gave examples that say in neighborhoods where you have that intersection, and whatever the size was, if you went above, let's say it's 27 feet or whatever, you made it that much more likely that either A, people weren't going to use it, or B, if they did, it's going to probably be an accident to cross, that intersection. Then he talked about if the roads were narrow and then there was a little bit of undulation as opposed to a straight road.
Well, they do that here. If you look at how they paint the line, sometimes you wonder why they paint it the way they do, but that's probably what it is, right? But my only issues are, we do pretty good roads here. My issues are, my pet peeves about these roads are 2 things, right? One, we need to do better ways for pedestrians to cross besides just a simple cross, especially across 6 and 4 lane highways. We need to make provisions that they can cross safely,
right,
without impeding traffic. Second thing, my pet peeve is for some reason when we pave a road in about 3 months' time, we can look forward to Water Authority to come and cut it up.
Or one of the utilities, right?
Okay. So let's take North Side, for example, going to Kaibo. Right? The road was beautifully paved. A couple months later, they cut it up. Now, why is that? Why aren't we talking to each other? Why aren't we sorting this stuff out prior to paving? Why aren't we, if they do cut it up, right, make them fix it properly. Okay? It's never fixed properly. Okay, and that bugs me. They come into my neighborhood, they cut up the road. I had potholes in my road now from where they cut up there from months on end. They're running through. Why? Right? Why is that left that way? Why are they allowed to leave it that way? Okay, it's a disgrace, right? So these are the things that bothers me when it comes to our roads.
That issue, yeah. Okay.
My other pet peeve when it comes to environment and the little stuff that we need to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
So we sit down and we watch all these developments going up on the beach. What I want to ask you is this. When they dig the foundation for these buildings, where does the sand go that they take out? Right? Who's keeping track of where the sand goes, and who's keeping track of if it comes back? And I would venture to say at one point, I remember that DOE used to keep track of how much sand come off the beach and if it was going back. And if we're taking sand off of the beach and off that piece of property and it's sand, shouldn't we be putting it back on the beach if it can't go back in the footprint of the building?
What do you think is happening to it?
Well, this is a mystery. I think they're selling it off and it's never going back on the beach. And then we're talking about erosion of the beach.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think about all the places that built on the beach and all the sand that came off of the beach, where did it go?
Yeah.
And I know it haven't gone back on the beach.
Are we still talking about spending that $25 million to bring in the sand again to put on the beach?
I hope not, because that'd be the first one to stand up against it.
But if things happen and we don't know until after the fact,
I hope not, because that's if they're thinking about that, they need to go lay down in a dark room, close their eyes till they come out of their head. Right? Put it simple. But I believe that these are the things that bug me. Another thing that bug me now is that you drive around and you see people that have turned in for coastal work license have a dock, or used to have a dock. A hurricane comes and destroys it. Then you see the pipes sticking up in the middle of the water. So one, they should be enforced to remove those pipes, or two, repair the dock.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to repair the dock, remove the pipes.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think then that in that process, my understanding is there's no fee, you just got to make the application and you can put it back the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do you think that whole process causes people, for whatever reason, maybe they have a misunderstanding of it, not to proceed? Is it they don't have the money? Is it that they don't desire to?
Well, maybe it takes so long to go through planning. Planning is overwhelmed with what they have right now. We need to get a better procedure on that aspect of it. But I mean, that to me, if you already have a dock and nothing is wrong with the pole, you already got permission to build it, and it's a dock, right, a wooden dock, I don't see no reason why you shouldn't be able to just put it back together.
All right. I'll say that in two means. First, if...
And it's supposedly private, right?
Would it make it...
But public, I guess, because it's out in the water.
Yeah, your concerns that these pipes and sticking up there could pose a serious issue to borders, other people, but it's also unsightly. So if we said, okay, put it back to exactly how it was, there's no issue, and then this is another probably level of...
No, I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to re-drill some of those pipes, I can understand why planners say, no, you have to come back and go through the course of works again to re-drill these pipes.
Okay.
But if your pipes are in existence and you literally have to put back on a 2x4 or 2x6 or whatever the case is, it shouldn't be an issue.
Put your ledges down in your...
It shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. And then if you go... Sorry, yeah. DJ Lynn, off question, yeah. And if you go beyond that, is there a means whereby our personnel then go around, inspect it, find you have done that, and then instill a very punitive measure because you've now done something other than what you had originally? I wonder if that would help. You can go ahead and do what you had before.
Yeah.
Don't go beyond what you did, and you're cool.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't, been a while, but the dock up in the sound, right? You're driving up in Bottomanu, and you're going straight at the launching ramp. If you're not careful, you're in the sea. That government dock, the public dock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gathered that's still in disrepair.
I haven't been there.
Right?
I can't speak.
I've had a number of people ask, why is that? Is it that the restaurants in the area don't want that dock there because the usage tend to be more of the local operators? Is it that there's no funding to do it?
Should I say this? You said it was a government dock?
It is a government dock.
Shouldn't the government repair it for the people to use it then?
These are the questions, right? Why is it A, there's no funds to do it. B, the people.
Well, I don't stand by that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no funds to do it.
No, that's a question.
The reason I'm saying that, we find funds all the time to send to other countries for aid and all this other stuff. Not saying that we shouldn't try to help, but we should always take care of ourselves here first before we can take care of other people. It's sort of like you have to pay your light bill, but you're going to lend out half the money.
Okay.
What happens then? Do your light bill get cut off? Right? So you have to be able to take care of yourself first before you can help anybody else.
Right.
Right? So if you find yourself drowning, you can get out the water. You got to get out the water and try to help the other person further down the river. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
Let me go back to where you were at the beginning, something that you shared. This is a few months out from election. I'm not sure how long it'll be. We're in July, it may be in April next year. And we always, as a country, but as voters in particular, have this expectation that closer you get to election, the more it looks like something's going to be addressed. Roads going to be paved. That politician is going to come talk to you. More and more of the same. But the last 3 years or the last 2 administrations, if you've been there for that time, you forget what wasn't done. But here we are now, in a few months before, a lot is being talked about or seemingly being done. But that's good politics, because you remember the last thing that was said and done, right? As a voter, you forget. Yeah. So why do we blame the politician for being a good politician and not accept responsibility for a voter who has, very, very short memory?
Well, I think people need to draw the line on what they actually want. Do you want paved roads, and do you want all this other stuff? And we have it, yeah. Right. I enjoy our roads. But could we look at bigger things, like making sure money stay in Caymanian hands, making sure that we have opportunities for Caymanians, that they can become millionaires instead of everybody flying in here and becoming millionaires? How do we curb that aspect of it is my problem.
Yeah.
And how do we get people to understand that a street light or a handout or a fridge or a stove, it makes no sense, right? And it makes no sense in the aspect of, if you're going to be getting the same thing, and we can't, and mind you, we've been kicking the same can down the road now for about 20 years,
Longer, man.
Right? Okay, you say longer. So I'll cap it at 20 years, right? So that's a long time. So we've been kicking the same cans down the road, and cycling through people over and over, and still kicking the same can down the road. So we got good footballers. So what I want to say is that we kick the can down the road on education. We kick the can down the road on opportunities for Caymanians, right? We kick the can down the road on houses for Caymanians, right? These are the cans we kick down the road. We still can't, after all this time, okay? We can't take care of our elderly properly, okay? We don't have a proper facility to do so. One of the most important things, right, that we should be doing as a community, right, as an individual, right, and I'll just venture to tell you this. If you don't take care of your elderly, your parents, your kids, right, your young kids, if you don't take care of those, then what do we have? So you don't take care of your parents, and you have them as a burden to society, and you don't have no place to be able to put them there where you're not taking care of your elderly. That's a failing country when you can't take care of your elderly, and then you have nowhere for your children to go,
Yeah.
Right? So that's a problem for me. So those are the things that I look at, right? And we're not doing those things, and we continue year after year after year to kick these cans down the road. And it's simple stuff that could help that we do not do, right? I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. We just had the near miss of Hurricane Beryl, right? Tell me now, how much time do you think government buy plywood for the same people, and how much money they spend on it, year after year after year after year, sometimes twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. So I want to ask you that now: how much money you think has been spent over time doing this, when we can identify who needs the help, when we can identify which houses need the help? Wouldn't it be more beneficial to put shutters on these people's places? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Than to continue to buy plywood? Or
is it
just a feel good to say, I gave you a sheet of plywood to board up your house? Well, what is it? So those are the things that I want to look at, right? Because it bothers me, right? When you have an elderly person that possibly need to board up their house and probably have nobody to do it, under whatever circumstance that may be. But that's neither here nor there to me. The point is that we got to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So if we know that we have to do it, is it beneficial to continue to buy a sheet of plywood every hurricane, every year? Or is it more beneficial to put up some shutters and you know where they are and you put them up?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you know it's going to happen again. Okay? Or is it that we put out a piece of plywood that you get to see me and I send you a piece of plywood and I send you a next piece and next piece and then you feel good that I send you a piece of plywood so I got your X. What's the point behind it? I don't get it.
Right.
And I would think it's more beneficial to spend money in that manner than to continue doing it the way we do it.
So why don't we do that then? I mean, you said that.
I explained to you what I think, or what I'm not sure, but I threw some stuff out there that could be, and you can draw your own opinion on what I threw out, or maybe you have your own, right? But those kind of things bother me, right? Because those are the kind of things, again, and I'm not saying not to buy the plywood in that time, but we don't have to continue to do it if you put things in place, right? So, if somebody need help, then I believe at that time that you need to help them.
But let me then ask and listen to that. And we're speaking to Kerry Lawrence, and please join us if you wish. But two things. So the politician, generically speaking, generally saying the politician, can by favor get votes, get a connection, feel some level of maybe obligation. The voter might feel obligated as well to return. I'll give you this thing, so remember me at the ballot, right?
Maybe.
But second,
that's a consensus.
Yeah. Seemingly, whether it's a plywood, fridge, stove, turkey, cake, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the voter, the general populace, right, might be in a position to help him or herself, or maybe needs limited help. But it would seem that, as you shared that, I was thinking to comments I've heard just in the aftermath of Beryl as well as leading up to it. People who could do more for themselves, who have in the past done more, have said, wait a minute, this one's getting a listening from the politician. Well, I got asked too because I might get.
You know probably why, right?
Well, no, tell me. Cause
I'll draw this and say this. As we spend money as a government, and as we allow government to spend the money and to do the expenditure that they're doing, the cost of living goes up when you pay for it. Therefore, everyone tries to hang on with the money that they have. And then they would probably look and say, okay, why should I go spend this money on plywood when that one can give it to me? So I can use this to pay my electrical bill in the next this time or whatever the case may be. So you have to look at that, I think, in a different aspect. So then you go back to the old Cayman now where your money went further because your expenditure was less and the money went a lot further, right? Now, did you have people at that point running around looking for handouts?
We helped ourselves. There was a sense of...
So that then proves my point. We helped ourselves and we helped our neighbors.
Right.
Right?
So
as you go by that you can't afford to do it, then you don't do it. Right? So it's simple. You have enough money to do X, your neighbor can't come borrow it from you again, or you can't give him any because you don't have any extra to give. Because you're looking after X, right? Okay? So as the cost of living go up, as government expenditure go up, and that's one of the things I mentioned about the minimum wage. I don't believe in it at all until they fix government expenditure and until you can say where the money is going to go and how it's going to work. Because saying you're going to put up a salary to $10, $15, you choose a number, I don't care what you choose it, $30, choose what you want. It's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is simple. If I give you $10 today per hour, and I put up all the prices across the board, where's that $10 going to go?
It could probably cost you now the same, if not more, to buy that same thing.
It's going to cost you more dollar amount, but the money's going to go to the same place.
Right.
Same amount is what I'm saying.
No, I'm with you.
Right.
But
So it's you're still back in the same position we were. So you're going around one of those roundabouts that we just built. Right. So that's the kind of thing that I look at and say it's kind of a feel good aspect to say I'm going to put up the minimum wage when we don't have all the information. Right? And we're not doing anything to curb to say, okay, this is where and this is how your money is going to go here and this is how it's going to get there. Right? So that's the problem for me.
So with respect to the minimum wage issue, who do you think benefits initially in terms of the salary? There are those who say...
Well, I know where you're coming with it, and I thought about it.
Okay.
The only way, again, coming back to the ESSO report, that should tell you what the average salaries are and how much people make in next salaries. And I would say that mostly like Caymanians there, they're looking at how much salaries they're making, what they're making. So that should automatically tell you who's getting the benefit of the salary, right? So without looking at all the numbers and statistics, how are you really going to know?
Yeah.
You're not going to know. But the point is, just putting up the minimum wage, your money is not going to go. You have feel good that I'm making X amount per hour.
But you're spending more.
But you're spending more money on that product, and you're in the same situation you were to begin with.
Okay. All right. Inflation is a consequence. We got a quick break, but I appreciate what you share with us, man, and the fact that you're sharing. All right, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Hey, join us after.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
July is Laundry Month at Brand Source Home Gallery. Get ready to save big with 15% off on all washers and dryers, both domestic and commercial, and 30% off on selected laundry items.
Is your washer or dryer on its last spin? Now's the time to upgrade. From GE, LG, Samsung, Beko, Electrolux to Frigidaire. Save up to 30% on laundry appliances during the month of July.
Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
Check out brandsourcecayman.com for more deals. Voted Best Appliance Store of 2023.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. is brought to you by Cayman Medical Center, Cayman's most awarded private medical clinic, located in the heart of Georgetown. Visit their website at medical.ky or call 623-1000.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And that laughter is good banter because, enjoying the company of Kerry Lawrence, and I recognize that when I sit in this chair, I hope to date I've done exactly what I consciously set out. I want to facilitate conversations. I want to give people the opportunity that this is a space that they can share with you, even where it may differ from other people. It's about that perspective, encouraging other people to feel as inclined to share. Some do so publicly like you and others, and some aren't so willing for different reasons, right? But if we don't have that desire, or we don't have that freedom, and we exercise that freedom, we're lost, right?
Well, I think you have the freedom to do so is if you have a broad enough shoulder to take licks after you do it. Two different things. You told my shoulders were broad.
And thanks for reminding us that. But why is it that way, though? Why is it that you become... there's a word that immediately comes to mind, but I won't give him what transpired the other day in the U.S. following the incumbent president making a comment. But why is it that when somebody says something, automatically others are quick to tear down, to castigate, and say, boy, look at that.
Anything I come here and say, Dwayne, is not for... I'm not looking for anything from it, right? Mm-hmm. What I want is simple. Mm-hmm. Cayman is my home. Mm-hmm. This is where my children grew up. This is where I intend to continue to be my home. Why shouldn't I want it to be better?
Right.
Why shouldn't I want to keep this place as safe and as good and as nice as possible? Mm-hmm. Why shouldn't I want my children to be successful in the place and be able to live comfortably in the place that they grew up? Right? So that's the kind of things I think each Caymanian should ask themselves. Right? Why your children have to go out and supposedly strive so hard and supposedly come into a market where they're discriminated against for one reason or another. Mm. Why are we not afforded the same opportunities?
Right.
Why we don't have that level playing field? You need to ask those questions, and you need to be able to answer them. And who needs to answer them is really the government of the day, whichever government that may be. Yeah. And past governments, and they need to answer that question. And we need to stop doing things in band-aids, because we continue to just patch stuff, and you just patch the hole in the boat, and you just patch the hole in the boat, and then it comes back out, and it comes back out, and you're still leaking the water, right? Yeah. So we need to fix the issues that we have and find a proper way forward that we can know where we're going, as in these rules and these regulations are going to benefit X, and this is how we're going to get there, and this is the way we're going to get there. So we need to take that kind of approach towards it, because the time is now to do it, right? Because we're literally running out.
With that in mind, some people, I guess I should say more frequently now, we're hearing people say, oh, it's too late.
It's not too late. And it's not too late because, as I said to you before, I'll say this. The school had a presentation, not a government school, a private school had a presentation that I went, and I won't call the school name, that I went to see. And one of the things was, and they had to come up with solutions in Cayman that could be fixed, and how could you fix them? So you got to hear what problem they had to fix, and then you got to hear how they chose to fix these problems. And it was interesting. One of the problems that they had was, how do we house Caymanians and have Caymanian houses cheaper? That was one of the problems, to house Caymanians. You know what one of the solutions was? One of the solutions was the foreigners that come here and have places locked up, or land that they're not using, that land banked, or whatever you want to call it, and just have the places there, charge them taxes on it. Mm. Now, this is coming from a private school. This is coming from kids that have foreign parents that are coming up with these solutions. And they come up with these solutions, so you got to venture to say that your kids had to talk to you, right? In coming up with these solutions. Well, what would you do, or what do you think? And you would give your opinion and then they come up with their solution. But they had to bring that discussion to the forefront. So then when I thought about that, then I said, well, if they spoke to their parents, and their parents not from here, and they're okay with that, why aren't we doing it? Are we not doing it because we believe that they're not okay with it?
If you look at a couple of developments in Florida, these empty communities, beautiful communities, but they're not being used. And one of the concerns that they have is that nobody's there, so it's a ghost town. This was a few years back. I remember sort of reading that in some of the journals. And how do you encourage people who were intended to buy and live in these communities are now just there infrequently, right? So to your point, it seems that if these children are saying you have properties here, built properties, maybe get used a few times for the year, because you're not using it, you're not in the economy, the children are proposing tax them or not.
It's interesting
to
hear it, right?
Being driven from their thoughts, from their parents, from their
That's
schools?
what I'm saying. So it's interesting to hear it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I found it interesting. The next thing that another pet peeve of mine also, you have callers?
2 callers.
Let's take the callers.
Yeah, don't forget your point, you know.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Let's take callers.
We're talking to Mr. Kerry Lawrence. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dwayne. Good afternoon, Mr. Kerry. Raymond here.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Mr. Raymond, sir. How are you?
Yes, okay. I'm listening in attentively to Mr. Kerry.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to pass on my heartfelt condolences to the sadness that happened to Mr. Rodney Jackson, I think, in the Grand Cayman. That was so sad beyond. So my condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Rodney. That was so tragic and so shocking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Understood. And we have a small shipment of products today coming from St. Croix, small tanker, 426 feet long, about 12,000 tons coming to Jackson's to offload. So that cargo came from St. Croix. Storage tanks in St. Croix.
And that's fuel, sir? Are you talking about?
Yes, sir.
What kind of fuel?
Correct. Yeah, diesel and gasoline, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Very informative.
Yeah, yeah. And normally, I mean, what's significant to us who don't know? That one's coming from storage in St. Croix versus out of Houston or wherever else it comes from. Why is that one so different, so important?
Yeah, and it's a smaller one to top up the big tanker, the Sea Elephant.
Okay.
As far as I'm told, that she left from Cayman Brac and she's still drifting and maneuvering off Grand Cayman. I was told that she did not discharge the 47,000 barrels of diesel, 6,000 barrels of jet fuel, and 4,000 barrels of that is gasoline. And she's drifting and maneuvering off the coast there. That's what I was told, that she hasn't discharged as yet Grand Cayman's cargo. So probably they doing a replenishment using the small tanker that could come quickly from 2 days roughly from St. Croix to Grand Cayman.
Just keep our stocks and our supplies up.
Yeah, the last one that came to Cayman Brac with the Sea Elephant, that gasoline and diesel was loaded in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Went to the Bahamas, Clifton Point in Nassau, then Dominican Republic. Then it went to Grand Cayman, and the hurricane approaching ran it out from there, and then it came to Cayman Brac and discharged Cayman Brac's cargo, and then that's when it got into problem. And Grand Cayman's cargo, I was told, is still on board and is not off the tanker yet. That's according to information that I got. That the 3 grades of cargo is still on board, and that ship been around now many days on losses. So very much some of those tankers of that size, 600 feet long, is being paid $45,000 a day. I'm not sure how much this one is being paid, but probably thinking from $15,000 to $25,000, and it's been more than a week or more than 10 days now since it left out from from just before the hurricane. It left out from Grand Cayman, went off the coast to Hurricane Pass, then it came to Cayman Brac, and then pumped out and now got into problems, and now it's, according to what I'm told, it's still out there with the cargo on board for Grand Cayman. Well, they surely need to make all efforts to get that ship in Jackson's Point, get Grand Cayman's cargo off, and then send the ship on its next port.
Right. I appreciate you keeping us informed. Anything else, Mr. Raymond, before we take the next call?
It's a number of things, but your friend there, he needs to continue with his discussions and doing a great job. Thanks a lot. And Mr. Kerry, how is the heavy equipment business?
Not going too bad. The market is very saturated, as you know.
Oh, yes, definitely so, correct.
Yes.
Okay, well, good luck to you and all the very best.
Thanks very much, Mr. Raymond. And unless you want to make a quick comment, if not, we'll take this next one. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling. Yes, hello. All right. Okay, the caller was there, no longer. May return as we speak in the Kerry Lounge. But see, Mr. Raymond's comments fills in, some that people have speculated, maybe gets people to think of other things, and knowledge, to say, can be empowering. But as you were sharing now, Kerry.
Yeah, so one of the things, my pet peeves again is cost of living, and I keep mentioning that because one of the things that we could do here, and I think it's left up to the government with the fortitude to do so, is we need to battle this issue with CUC and solar. Right? We have to battle it. We cannot allow CUC to just come out and make the decision. Usually the scare tactics that they used the other day, right? Saying they turn off your power now and then, scare tactic that they're using. And if that is the real issue, then the response from Ofreg was 100% correct. Right? I think you read that response.
Yeah.
So now looking at that and looking at what they said, why are we hindering people then from putting more solar on their roof or their buildings? Why are we still in discussions about doing this huge mass utility scale solar and tear down all this property? Why aren't we using the parking lots, and why aren't we using the rooftops? I keep saying that.
Give everybody a little piece, huh?
Yeah. And allow people to drop their electrical bill, thereby bringing down the cost of living, and businesses do the same by having their parking lots, which spreads and goes on to the consumers, right? So why aren't we doing stuff like that instead of simply allowing CUC to suggest and to do these things that they want to do?
Yeah, man.
Right.
Well, I'll pick that up. We'll take the call when we come back.
Yes,
but I commend Ofreg, the interim CEO, as well as the board, the chairman, Mr. Jackson, seemingly following the law, being stalwart people who have a sense of purpose and fortitude to look out for the public's interest. So this is where strong leadership is needed, no?
Yeah. Well, we need to go further with it, and when we come back, I'll expound on it.
All right. To you, Mr. Lynn, we'll pause and take that break.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate the RAM Water Tank Cayman Anniversary Special. Get your hands on their 225-gallon rectangular water tanks, plus 600 and 1,000-gallon options. On Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, 2,000-gallon tanks delivered directly to you. Their water tanks boost superior strength, crafted through rotational molding. No high-pressure stress, no crackling, just long-lasting durability. Made from top-quality, linear low-density polyethylene. Their tanks withstands harsh conditions with exceptional strength and impact resistance. Order your RAM water tank today. Call 925-3822. RAM water tanks, built to last a lifetime.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad had taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to our listeners for sharing. For those callers who, for some reason, can't remain connected, we invite you to return a call at your opportunity, 949-8037, 949-6990. You can WhatsApp call 925-3261 or use the toll-free line. I'm kind of interested to have someone call and say, yep, definitely working, because we're told now it's available to every single provider. It doesn't matter if you're a Flow or not. So that's 1-800-534-8255. All those numbers, Kerry Lawrence.
Yes.
And then playing on Sunday.
No.
I should be. Apparently they play every day, but I only.
I don't do it.
No. All jokes aside, not because, and that should be sufficient, but not just because it's illegal. The probability of a win, and then the winning is so small relative to the investment. It doesn't make sense, right? At least statistically, that will make sense to me. But I joke and have fun about it. Maybe it's not funny, but you know what? I laugh. You had some things you were sharing with us, man, before the callers on the break. You remember where you were going?
Yeah, we still have the caller there.
No, apparently Lynn answered the phone and said, I don't talk to you. No, kidding. That is not true at all. No, the caller probably couldn't hang on.
So I was going on to say, we need to have some fortitude to battle against CUC when it comes to allowing us to have solar individually in the right manner, and not cap it to what they want us to cap it, and not have them transition into the monopoly they want to transition into, which means they want to transition from a diesel generation to a monopoly in solar.
Yeah,
and we shouldn't allow that, and we should allow businesses and individuals to be able to do this stuff, and other countries have done it, other islands have done it, and it's successful.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we should move towards. I mean, we need to think about things like they want to clear 250 acres of land. If I read the article properly, and I don't know if you read it, they came out and said the unavoidable cost is 13 cents, and then if they put the solar farm in, then it's 10 cents,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the unavoidable cost now, if they put solar in, is 10 cents, right? Now we got to think about the detriment to the property. We got to think about the environment in that manner, clearing on that property. We have to now think about, do we really need to clear on that size property with a land crisis? Meaning we have lands, we have people that can't afford lands. Do we really need to tie up lands at this point with that? So all these things have to be answered.
There's an opportunity cost about that land being used for this versus that.
Exactly.
Right?
So we also need to bear those things in mind when we make these decisions, or we allow them to make these decisions and put these things forward. Right? So these are the things that we need to pay close attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, conveniently, every summer electricity go up tremendously. Sometimes you're not even home using it, and they go up anyway.
You found that too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just.
So then you start questioning why.
Okay.
My daughter went away and left her place locked up for weeks on end, and come back and it's the same bill.
Well, listen, you might find it funny, right? Don't lose your point. That happened to some of us. And I don't say this to make fun of anybody, not saying this to be disrespectful. I am as confounded today as I think about it as it was however long ago. Person left the house, right, consciously for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that was running in that house, although stationary, was the refrigerator. Okay? Stayed
she
closed.
did the same. She plugged out everything else besides
everything was off, okay, except this refrigerator, and it remained closed. Nobody went in or out. It stayed closed. I went to pay the bill for the person, and it was a few dollars more than the month before, and then the same thing. And then when I asked, the wonderful, and I must say, I find the CUC employees at this level and below absolutely fantastic people, friendly, professional, polite, loyal to that company. And in the nicest way, the lady said, well, the reason why your bill is high because your house is locked up and the fridge got to work harder to stay cool. I kid you not. See, you're making me feel like, and I looked and I go, huh. Then I said, well, that don't make sense because we go fishing and there are two ice boxes, right? You got a little cheap styrofoam one that you throw things that you don't want for too long. Once you don't open it, it's there. Then you got your big SSI where that sucker is made good, well insulated. You open that all day long and everything stays cool.
Mm-hmm.
Am I exaggerating?
Yeah.
So if you keep that simple little styrofoam, cheap one, close, it can last a good bit. But even that stays cool once you don't open it.
Yeah.
So if you got a good refrigerator in a house that is fairly insulated and nobody's opening or closing the fridge door, should that stay cold too? And
well, not only should it stay cold, it shouldn't be burning that much more than what it normally burns anyway.
Right, and how is the house?
Unless somebody has a blowtorch outside, I don't know.
But the house is closed up. I mean, like I'm telling you, I've been thinking about this ever since forever so long. And I asked another CUC employee who, went on a scholarship, got a good education from them, in that technical engineering area. And I thought, wow, they must be drinking some serious Kool-Aid. Because they didn't make sense.
No, they make no sense.
So I thought it was just me, but, anyway. No, you're right, man. So how do we address this thing, man?
We need to get people there that have the fortune and want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And these are the things that I think would put money in people's pockets, which means that will bring down the cost of living, and they give a hand with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that we need to look forward and do, and we can't simply continue to make CUC hold us the way they've been holding us. And I know we always say, and I'd be the first to say, do we get a good service? Yeah, but we pay for it.
Yeah.
And we pay for all infrastructure with a huge guaranteed return on profit of infrastructure too. So that is stuff that we pay for. They're not doing it for free. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their own hearts, right? They're doing it because they get paid for it. And they're doing it because they make a profit on the infrastructure. So why not put in good infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that we need to keep in mind that when they do these things and say these things, you know.
This person writes, and I want to share this with you and asking as we come back to CUC. This person says, Cayman would be, you know, a very beautiful place if we can all be successful innovators, not to shoot anyone down, but work with brilliant intentions, right? As I read it and I read it again, I'm thinking, it's not part of the challenge though. We're not seeing, like you said just now, we're not talking about a 4-year election cycle. We're not talking about 10 years. We're talking about a vision for a country, maybe for centuries down the road as we're working towards this thing, the cathedral builders in a sense. So with CUC, as an example, why are we not doing what you said? Why are we not considering what we should be at least thinking about?
What's funny, if you go back in time, okay, and you go and read all of the old articles and all the old stuff CUC said on solar, they didn't want it. They say it was no use and they say it was none good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so you can go back and read all that stuff I did. And the version said it was no use and it was no good and it was
talking
never
about firm power and
blah,
it wasn't
blah, blah,
reliable
blah.
and it was costly and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay.
The only firm power you're actually going to get is fossil fuel is firm.
Right.
That's your only firm power that you can depend on. Right?
Okay.
So we know this already.
Yeah.
So do we wait and do we do solar and do we improve the fossil fuels, as in we know hydrogen is coming up now, right? Do we look at hydrogen instead of going on to propane or natural gas and putting in infrastructure for that? How are you following hydrogen to see how long away it is, right? So all these things is things that we need to look at, and the government and the whole need to look into.
Yeah. Well, we've discredited hydrogen for a long time.
To be able to make good decisions on what is actually taking place.
Let's talk about that, because that speaks to cost of living. That speaks to also the profitability and viability of businesses. If your electric bill is this amount,
yes,
you know, how are you able to ensure that you can even stay up, keep your doors open, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're at a news break. Take us down whatever path you want. I try my best to keep up, not to distract, but can't promise you, you know.
No problem.
All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins. The West Bay Assembly of God at 100 Finch Drive in West Bay will be having daily vacation Bible school from Monday, August 5th till Friday, August 9th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for ages 4 to 10. The cost is free. You can call 916-3748 for more information. In international news, a New York grand jury has indicted a former U.S. Central Intelligence Agency analyst on charges of acting as a spy for the South Korean government in exchange for luxury goods, bags, and fancy meals. Sue Mi Terry, who previously worked as a senior official for the White House National Security Council, faces 2 counts of failing to register as a foreign agent and conspiracy to violate the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Federal officials say Ms. Terry, a prominent U.S. expert on North Korea, acted as an agent for the South Korean government for over a decade, but she did not register as a foreign agent with American officials, according to court documents made public on Tuesday in the Southern District of New York. The stars of Baby Reindeer and The Crown are among those nominated for this year's Emmy Awards. Scottish comedian Richard Gadd, creator of controversial Netflix series Baby Reindeer, has 3 nominations for acting, writing, and producing. Jessica Gunning, who plays stalker Martha, is also nominated for an acting award, as are co-stars Nava Mao and Tom Goodman-Hill. The series has 11 nominations in all. Most nominated is Japan's set samurai epic Shogun with 25, while The Bear has set a record for a comedy program with 23. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Cayman Islands, your opportunity to shape our future continues. Join us for public consultations on July 18th in East End at the William Allen McLaughlin Civic Center, July 22nd in Cayman Brac July 25th in Savannah Newlands at the Savannah United Church, and July 29th in Northside at the Northside Civic Center. Don't forget our virtual session on July 18th on CIG Facebook and YouTube Live. All consultations will be broadcast live on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and online at radiocayman.gov.ky. Submit your questions via slido.com. Let's work together for a sustainable future. For more details, visit plancayman.ky. Be part of the change.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And the phone lines are open as we have the excellent company of Mr. Kerry Lawrence, 949-8837, or toll free at 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. I want you to do as I think you've always done to date. Speak freely. Feel a warm, hospitable welcome, and not to use it as many have as a safe space to share, right? But it encourages other people. So in doing that, I'm going to ask something, but let's take this caller to just join us. Sure. Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing. Yes, hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pastor Clark here.
How are you? How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing good. I realize my engineers, they cut back my program from the place for a good while. Now I want to talk with somebody to know what I need to do to start the coming Sunday, get the program going again, you know?
Okay, well, I tell you what, hold on. Let Lynn take your call, and then somebody will reach out to you. And thanks, sir. Thanks. I wonder, Kara, as we look, how many of us like to flex our muscle because we think we got a big mouth and we're ugly and we frighten people? Or how many of us realize that we're small, diminutive, but like David, we stand strong because we're doing what is honest, right, and just. And I say that to wonder in the Cayman context, whether we see the need, for the Davids, the Daniels, and the like.
I think you're referring to, correct me if I'm wrong, so we look in, how I understand it at least.
Yeah.
So what you essentially saying is that the voters have the ability to vote and to put who they want or who they see fit for the place, right?
Yeah.
Country,
yeah.
Right?
So
and we have that power to do so as the people. All right. So I venture that's or to stand up for anything else. Don't only have to be for that needs to be corrected. Right. Or what's wrong that we think that, but we tend not to do that. Then you have to think about why. People are so busy concentrating on making ends meet and working 2 jobs and trying to spend time with your family. The more that you can't make ends meet, the less time you spend with your family. The less money you have, the less time you spend with your family. End the story.
The more pressure is on you.
The more pressure it is on your relationship, the more pressure it is on your personal relationship with your spouse, the more pressure it is on your family relationship with your children, right? Because you don't get to see them much. So all these things come into play with the cost of living. All these things come into play that we're not discussing. All these things come into play that past and present politicians don't think about, right? And all these things come into play when we do nothing about it and continue to do nothing about it, right? So all these things come into play. And I said it starts from taking care of the elderly. Any country that is successful, they take care of the elderly, take care of where the young people go, because your young people is your future. Your elderly people was your past, and without them, you wouldn't be where you are today. Okay?
Right.
So you're trying to build on what they left behind. Now, are we properly building on the vision that the elderly people had for this island? I don't know. Are we more successful now than we were back then? Were our relationships better at our family back then?
Quality of life and
quality of life was better. So all those things have to come into question. So you need to know where you're going and where you want to be and how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
On the political front, okay, we went and we put in one man, one vote. And now we have to think to ourselves, is it working?
Mm-hmm.
Has it worked? Was it the right thing to do at the time? Was it put in place in the right manner? Because it was shot down at first and then it went back in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because it went to the polls and it was shot down, because I think it was 50+1 if I remember correctly, and it didn't win it.
But they brought it in without
doing it, although the voting public basis said no, they didn't want it. So how they did that, they did it.
Yeah.
Right? So then you question that. Then when you think about how it works now, so I'll just put it out there like this. If you're in a constituency, and I am running in that constituency, right? And in that one constituency, you have 1,000 people in that constituency. And you have 5 people running, 6 people running that constituency, right? One of those coming out with the most votes, right? Although one of those come out with the top votes out of the 6 people, okay, and one person win it, saying that they have the most votes out of 6 people, if you think about it collectively, they have the less votes because those other 5 people would have gained those votes. So if you put those votes together, the majority of people voted against the person that actually went in.
Yeah, just won by, having more than the next person.
Exactly. So is it working in the manner that it is? Right. Is there a benefit to us putting in the district councils? Was the district councils supposed to put, if you are an upcoming politician, and I'm an upcoming politician, you have one in there now, was the district council coming to say, okay, in this constituency, you can debate and the constituency want you to run, and half from want you to run because you do a constituency census to see who they want to run in that constituency, and then you put 2 people head to head. I think that would be more fair, right? Because now the constituency say these are the 2 people that we want to possibly represent us. Let's put it to the polls and see who wins head to head, versus having 5 and 6 and 4 people running one constituency. So these are the things I think that need to be curtailed and looked at. And was the district council set up to work in that manner?
Yeah.
Right? So these are the things, again, I think that should be speaking about, and is the only way for the one man, one vote to work for the people is in a manner that I described. Because now you can have only 2 people running in each constituency, head to head. That means you'll definitely know who the constituency want to run for them.
There's a lot to unpack there. I think one of the things would be to what extent you have a large participation in that area. But we have a call as we're speaking to Kerry Lawrence. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. How are you?
Good, and good afternoon to you guests.
Yes, thank you.
I just have a question for Mr. You said, what his name is? Kerry?
Mr. Kerry Lawrence. Mr. Kerry Lawrence, yeah.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to the solar panels for your rooftop, how secure and how safe are they for your rooftop? And how do you know that your rooftop can manage them, especially knowing that we're in a hurricane path there 6 months? What kind of stability that you got to have for these solar panels to be on your solar panels, right?
Yes.
On your rooftop. I mean, how sturdy and how strong? Well, I know the hurricane can take that anything when it's ready. Don't get me wrong, right? But I'm just trying to figure out, just a regular home, say the house don't have any hurricane straps to it, and they put up the solar panels, and something happen. Do these things have insurance, or if the house doesn't have no insurance and these things damage your rooftop during hurricane season, who is in the loss in this situation?
When you say if the things damage rooftop, are you meaning if somebody solar panel blow off their roof and hit your roof or something? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that too. I'm glad you said that too. I could have had that in mind, but it slipped me that as well too. But the main house that has it on.
Well,
how sturdy? What kind of rooftop you're suggesting that these homes supposed to have?
Well, with our planning laws that we have these days on the buildings that we have these days, I would venture to say that our planning laws are bar none, right? So we have very strict planning laws and very strict building codes. So when these solar panels are on your roof, they actually go into your rafters, right? So in order for the solar panels to come off, right, your roof would have to be completely gone.
So tell me something. Suppose the house is, it's pretty up there in age, and
But that's now for the installers to say whether they would venture to put that on your roof or not.
Right, that's
is
what I
I'm
wanted
saying.
to say.
So that's for the installers now to look at and say, well, I don't think this roof is sturdy enough for solar panels or not. That's for the installers to say. But if it's houses in the Cayman Islands that have gone with the codes that we have here, and the codes continue to grow, I mean, our codes, and you've seen it through other hurricanes and stuff, we've not done that horribly through hurricanes and stuff with the codes and the houses that we have here. I mean, you have houses here that have stood up through time. And it's to do with the laws that we have here, and we know that we have hurricanes, and we build for that purpose. Right? Now we have houses that probably been and some are, and I'm not to say that either, because some of the older houses that have been built sometimes, they go in Bordentown. I saw the waves crash over them, and they're still there, right? They're still there. So it's very funny to say, but again, hurricanes are funny because you have something like water spouts that come down like tornadoes and drop on your roof and pull your roof off. So it's all different stuff. We had tornadoes here that dropped here before and run the road. That'll take your roof off, and not a hurricane. Don't care what's on it. So it's very hard to say what is what, but to the code, and they have to be inspected, by the way. So the guys just don't come there and put them on your roof. They have to be turned into planning, and planning has to come and inspect them and make sure they're done correctly. Right, so they're not just put on by an individual, and that's it. You have to turn in for planning to do it, and planning come out and make sure it's done correctly in the right manner.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. It's more understandable when you say that. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Another question for you, sir. This gentleman asked you some time ago about how the heavy equipment going. Do you do any part of these dump trucks? Are you on a part of those dump trucks that's on the road?
No, I don't own any dump trucks.
No. Oh, I just wondered because when the man mentioned, heavy equipment.
No, I don't own any
but,
dump trucks.
I'm quite sure you noticed the terrible and the bad driving that these guys are doing on the road.
Well, this is, again, I'll say this to you. That is also one of my things that I worry about. And I'll tell you why. I believe the sizes of the dump trucks that we allow here on the island is quite silly. Meaning that we do not have a weight limit. So if you go to the States, you have a weight limit on what you can carry on the roads, which means for X amount of weight, if you carry 40 tons, you need to have X amount of tires on that dump truck to be able to carry 40 tons. So I'm pretty sure you've never went to the States, if you've been there before, to see a dump truck that you can see the load protruding out the back of it. You don't see that.
You sure don't.
Okay, good. Because they have a weight limit to it. So because they have a weight limit, they do two things. One, you save your roads from damage because you have a weight limit on the roads, right? So you save your tar on your roads. Two, what you actually do by doing that, these guys drive the way they drive in because they drive in by the trip, right?
Yeah.
And they carry as much load as they can carry.
They're not covered.
Right.
And it's not covered. It's not covered. It's overloaded.
Right. So these are the things that you put up with. So unless government come out there and say, listen, we're going to put a weight limit, and this is the tonnage, and this is the tonnage we allow on this road, and this is what you have to carry, and then that would change. Okay?
Yesterday, 3 almost killed me there by the licensing department, racing to go back up east.
Yeah.
3 of them behind each other, flying like a bat of the hill.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, I have children and family on the road. My family's driving on the road, and God forbid anything happen to one of these trucks. And these are the things that we have to worry about. But these guys are driving the way they're driving because they're working by the trip, and they're trying to go as fast as they can to get back from point A to point B to be able to get that load. Now, to curtail that is simple. If you put in a weight limit, and years ago, I remember, before I got my license and when I got my license, dump trucks was only allowed to go 12 to 5 miles an hour,
Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Lawrence,
Yes.
you know what gets me? I'm scared all the roads at Borden Town, of all places, that they are flying through like there's no tomorrow. You know how close the homes are in Borden Town to the main roads and so forth. It's only one lane going, one lane coming.
Yeah.
And something has to be done. And I just was going to put it in writing to make these guys do better than what they're doing. Like I said yesterday, I had 3 upon me, my license department going east. 3 of them.
Yes.
And you know what, too, Mr. Lawrence could talk about is our lawn service out here dragging their stuff and not having their stuff covered up properly. We need to enforce that situation. And another thing, Mr. Lawrence, we got people who is going to people's homes, changing out their appliances, their water heaters, and going down the road
Throwing in the
and
bush.
throwing it off on the main road.
Yep, I've seen it.
It has to be stopped. You know what I saw through South Sound this morning? Some home, look at it, did some electrical change it or something, and the 2 garbage bins that the garbage truck normally pick up, it is full of pure electrical stuff for these garbage trucks to pick up, and I hope they don't ever pick it up. And I'm going to let you go, Mr. Lawrence. How often do we drive through South Sound?
All the time.
Well, can you elaborate to the fact that something needs to be done with those private homes, with those trees hanging over our main public street? We need to hold those homeowners responsible for their trees hanging over the main street. If anything ever happened, nobody can drive to it from the east or from the south.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Right.
I thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thanks, too. And as we go into the break, thank you. Take care. 2 quick messages. One says, national vote for the premier, and let's go back to less MPs. Just pick on your comment. And then second one, as a compliment to you, Mr. Lawrence, person writes and says, listen to your couple times, always make good sense. Your common sense is, very, very, enlightening and bring people to a space. So let's pause. When we come back, closing comments.
No problem.
All right, stay tuned.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
Super Jam.
Also brought to you by
Cayman Airways. Call them at 949-2311 to book your non-stop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Superior Auto Center. Do it right the first time with Superior Auto.
949-9570 or 525-9571. Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune.
And Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And a few minutes left. Kerry Lawrence spent the show with us, man. Thank you.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
I'm hoping that going forward that you, the next person, and whoever, we have more of these discussions, and it'll do a number of things, but maybe it'll ask the public to question, just like we allege that in the public sector employee, quote unquote, the civil servant, does not say much publicly because you're a civil servant. But I gather that in the private sector, not just the individual who's working for him or herself, but who is an employee of the bank, the law firm, the accounting firm, whatever the organization, is also either censored by the employer and or self-censoring when it comes to making comments publicly out of fear that whatever they say could be misconstrued or perceived as anti-government or...
But it always, I find it, you can say what you like to say, It just how you put it.
Okay.
So your words, I am pro-Caymanian. I have nothing against foreigners at all.
Those two statements are completely separate.
As I go to their country, I would hope they're pro their country, which you can see that even when they come here. Why shouldn't I be pro-Caymanian when I can definitely see they fly their flags and those that they're pro their country?
Yeah.
So Caymanians seem to feel like they shouldn't show that they're pro-Caymanian, and they should in their own right. They should be proud to be from here. They should be pro-Caymanian. They should look out for their Caymanian people in the whole.
Yeah. What's interesting as you shared that, I can think of a number of people that they remind me they're not Caymanian. They're not saying that with anything. And they only say that because I commend them for my perception, their love, respect, and pride that they have in Cayman. Not just because of the financial benefit that they get, not just because of the educational opportunities afforded to their children, not just because of the safety. They just feel something here. They feel connected. They love this place, right? They show, some of them, more love, respect, concern, value, appreciation, all the attributes they can describe to Cayman and to Caymanians than some of us.
Well, Cayman is a complicated place.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is this, right? And I mentioned it before. We have more people coming into this island and becoming millionaires and making a very successful life that they probably wouldn't make anywhere else or where they're from. And we don't have the Caymanians doing much of it. Right? So when I say Cayman is a complicated place, is that when you move here and you are that successful on a island that you've moved to or made your home, then you should be grateful of what is afforded to you.
Right.
So I expect no less.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not something that I would share gratitude for, that's how they feel. I expect no less.
Right.
Because you've come here, you've taken up space on my little island.
Yeah.
And not only space, you've taken up a job, or your children or whoever is here. Not that I have anything against them, but I expect no less. So as you're here, I expect you to treat the place like how I would want to see it treated.
Right.
Okay, that's like me coming to your house.
Yeah.
If you don't want me to wear shoes, I can't come inside your house with shoes. And out of respect for you, that's what I have to do. Otherwise, you don't come in my house.
But it's for that homeowner to say to that person.
So that is where we're at.
Yeah.
So we need to stand up as we used to do before and say, this is what we expect. This is what we are here. And stop tiptoeing around these issues and be for our people.
Right. Can I? You've sort of led me to want to share this, and I've revisited it a couple of times to the point where I've gone back to someone asking if he remembers the conversation we had with this lady, and she's passed on now, but fantastic lady. She talked about, she used the phrase, these carpetbaggers. I used to hear that comment before, and it wasn't a compliment. And then when this lady shared it, because of her age, her experience, and everything, just like that drive that we see in our women. When Miss Georgette would call in, you can just listen. You can understand the love, the respect, but that courage. Right? When we see the little statue, and I say that the little statue in town, that's small for what it stands for, right? The physical size of that thing. And then there was this other lady who, she's not here now, not Caymanian, to the best of my knowledge, no PR, no whatever. But when she speaks about Cayman to Caymanians in Cayman, you would think that she was probably one of the first people to have been here, and she's been here ever since, right? So these two ladies, and I asked the fellow, if you remember this lady and her comment on the carpetbaggers, because I say it on air. I say it out of my respect for her and the courage that she has. I want to have that too. And he said, remember, she says they come in here, some will have nothing. That's saying you don't have a window, a pot to whatever, and a window to trade out of, right? And she would talk about that. But she said, we as government and as a society facilitate these people with their wealth building. We lay out the red carpet, governments give concessions, we facilitate, which is great, but we're doing it to our detriment, and we're not doing it for other people, so it's a greater disservice. That wealth you talk about that's being created for others, we're not doing the same for us.
And that's one of the things I mentioned last time I called in. And I should have expounded on it while I was here. Now, maybe next time.
Please.
Again, with the cost of living. So we say that we have more people coming here taking jobs. We simply don't have enough Caymanians to take up all the jobs. Then you have to think about, is it because the cost of living, people are not having children or having less children, Caymanians, because they can't afford it, right? So all those things that I say go hand in hand, right? So if we're limiting by default, and because of the cost of living, people having children, or Caymanians having children, right, to populate more Caymanians to be able to do these things that we need done in this country and benefit from what we're working for, then if we're limiting that by the sheer cost of it to live here, one of the highest places in the world to live, right? Caribbean countries. So if we're doing that by default, then where are we? Are we going to continue down the road we're going in and keep importing labor?
Yeah.
Are we going to make space for our Caymanians? And the space that we're making are limited because of what we have. And we're going down the road now because we're not doing that. It's a watered down effect. So all these things are what we're not discussing.
Right. When your schedule allows, again, come back on. One of the last comments you made about being expensive, one of the most expensive places. Yesterday, I think another fellow made a similar comment. We hear it often, we read it in the media, many of us repeat it. I'm of the view that as expensive as we are, two things. One, we're not the most expensive. We're not as expensive as we say. And then when we look at US or Canada, the cost of the bread, the milk, or whatever that we find here to be exorbitant in some instances is, but isn't as expensive or any more expensive than it is in some of those places.
Well, from
right?
traveling there, the cost of it is virtually the same. But
yeah,
they got free healthcare.
Okay. So there is something that we need to explore.
And they charge taxes.
Right.
Right. So it's
the disposable income that they have is more than what we have here.
Right.
Because
So it's very.
Yeah.
You have to look at it in a whole. So you can't really compare.
Right.
If you're going to compare us, you need to compare us with other Caribbean islands, really.
Okay, but
and
even
then,
if
and then you got to be careful with doing that. Also, we don't charge the taxes, and our whole thing is a bit different. We're
Right.
tied to the U.S. dollar. Most of them isn't. So you have to look at us in a whole.
Yeah.
So how do we determine that the high cost of living is?
But even we compare Cayman to
You know how you determine that?
Okay, tell me. Yeah.
How you determine that is simple. At what age did you buy a piece of property?
Guess. Guess.
17.
I had to wait till I was 18 to close.
Okay.
Apparently, I would bought it when I was 16, but
So now I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
How much 17-year-olds today can do that?
Well, I credit my parents for.
Even if
Yeah.
the parents pushing you to do it, how
If
much?
they encourage
how
and
much-
facilitate it, yeah.
How much kids today can do that?
But they can't afford it.
My point.
but hang on, right? I went to. First off, there was a big piece of land, and we wanted to buy it. The person selling it looked at us as young people and thought, don't know nothing, wasn't prepared to sell it, right? That's a whole different story about crabs in a barrel, right? Land is bought by someone else, it's developed, I want to buy it. I bought that piece, because, well, I could. I go to the bank, I credit my sisters, right? And this is something that is personal, but I'm hoping that others will do. Their knowledge, their experience, their expertise taught me. They made sure I understood, sat me down, put me through the numbers, understand the terminology, gave me an education. I didn't get that in school. Then when I go to the bank, I got to present myself, I got to know what I'm asking for, understand what is being said. I found two things. I talked to all of the banks, okay? First thing is, well, how you know this? They weren't encouraging, they weren't like, wow.
Well, they're not going to be.
Right. No, they were disparaging.
Yeah, they're
okay?
not going to be. But this is where. All right. But are they disparaging if you're going for a car loan?
So check this out. So in the same tone, right? Making me, if I was like anybody else, trying to put me down because I come in there with an informed consumer. I would like to do this. What do I need to do? And I could understand some of the lingo, right? Again, thanks to my sisters. I want $30,000. They were willing to give me twice that for a car. I didn't need a car. I had a car and a truck. Together, they probably didn't worth more than $6,000, but I had both, right? One for the boat and one for the need. That was a long time ago. Hasn't changed today. So I treated it like something that not because I want something, and then I can get more money for a car that I don't want. The only bank at that time, remember what was a bank called Washington International Bank and Trust? I ended up there. The individual, right, chatted, went around, talked, and, well, it was Andrew Hulse. He does no longer in the banking much. Perfect opportunity to learn, to grow, to appreciate. No, he said, you got to wait till 18. I said, no problem. I got to be 18. When I got 18, you can sign the documents. And before it was, but since you're so young, we want an adult to sign. I go, but I am an adult.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's fine.
But
at
no,
least
that's not fine because we are.
What I mean by that when I say
I hear you, man.
when I say
I
that,
hear you.
I know we have to close.
Yeah, we probably
so
should.
I'll do two things. I'll say this.
Yeah.
Before my closing comments is simple as this. One, I want to say, so I'll close with something a little bit gloom, and then I'll do something a little bit positive.
There you go.
We need to be careful. We need to watch where we're going, because if we don't watch where we're going and Caymanians don't pay attention, Caymanians and your children and your grandchildren won't be able to buy any place here. They'll be renting from the same foreigners that come here to build places because they're doing it. So you'll be renting in your own country. And it's happened before in other places. They'll be renting in your own country because that's all you'll be able to do. So You need to make up your mind, make a chance, make a decision, and choose your politician wisely.
Okay.
And then I'd like to say this. Today is my son's 17th birthday, and I'd like to say happy birthday to him. Happy birthday, Zane.
Well, as a father, I commend you for wishing your son happy birthday. If it's okay, Zane, happy birthday to you. The song that we requested for you, we won't play it at this But this is... Didn't set up this year. Happy birthday, Zane. 17 is a good time, man. I wish you can live to see 117 and want to see 137. All right. Tomorrow, please come back for more Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your